All right. Welcome, everyone. It is my great pleasure this evening to welcome my relatively new friend, but I think we are friends at this point, Martha Alter Hines, who I was so fortunate to meet via Pam Gregory. And Pam was interviewed Martha, and Martha reached out to me, and then we realized we had the wonderful Pam in common. And so we went ahead, Martha reached out to me, and we went ahead and got together. Now, the reason I'm hesitating a little bit is because I'm trying to get my juggling people coming in and spotlighting.
There's a setting where you can disable the waiting room and then everybody will just file in on their own.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Click on participants and then down at the bottom, you uncheck. It's like a thing that says enable waiting room and just uncheck it. Just click on it and it'll uncheck. And then you don't have to be the one doing all that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that next time because I don't see, I click on
Oh,
participant, nothing happened. Okay, so well, just let me spotlight. And that way, at least we'll have you in the picture. And this, my friends, is Martha Alter Hines. Now I got to do it for me. Oh, God.
okay. Please do it for yourself too.
I'm trying. Darn it. Where is it? Add spotlight.
There you go.
Can you tell I haven't done this too much? The spotlighting is new to me after all these years on Zoom. Oh, well. Anyway, Martha, welcome to Infinite Wisdom. This podcast is fresh, even though the interviews have been going on for 5 years. The podcast is fresh. So that's why I'm a little stumbly bumbly. But you don't care. And I am so thrilled for you to be here tonight and to have a chat with you about you. Because last time we talked about me, and I'd much rather talk about you. So let's do this. Let's kind of go back to, where were you when you were a kid? What was happening to you? Were you talking to fairies? Were you talking to gnomes? Were you flying into outer space? What was happening? Or were you having kind of a normal life? What was going on for you?
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's here live because it's awesome. Um, and I think we'll have time later for questions too, right? So I
Yeah.
would say people could put questions if you have questions. Just want everybody to feel included here because I'm feeling you. So I want you to know that. But yes, so let's see. My childhood, I was born in Thailand and I grew up in Bangladesh, Pakistan, Kenya, and the United States. So some people who know me here already know all this, but for people who don't know, that's really formative, obviously, to how I grew up. And I would say that I don't have conscious memories of, seeing fairies and gnomes and all that at that age, but uh, in South Asia, as we know, is very intense energies and what I do remember about myself is that my sense of myself is that most of my past lives have been in India and the Indian subcontinent, which is now 3 countries. um, and yeah, so that part of the world is really speaks to my soul, and it is where I spent my early childhood. So what would happen for me as a kid at that age was experiences like I lived in Peshawar, Pakistan when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. And I have these very clear memories of my dad.
But you don't want to
take my sister.
Everybody, please mute yourself. Please
You're
mute
kind of
yourself.
trying to keep on,
can-
or you like,
Oh, dear.
You can also go to mute all, and that'll mute me, and then you'll have to let me, or you can say you can, yeah, there's different settings with the mute.
I think somebody got it. Go ahead.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So like one of my big childhood memories is my dad would take us to this like these big hills that were all shards of pottery. So the Peshawar, Pakistan, is right on the border with Afghanistan, and so we were there in the 80s, and that was during the time of the Afghan-Russian war. So it was a very intense time to be in that part of the world. But one of the really cool things about that part of the world is that's where the Khyber Pass is. And so that's like there's a lot of very rich history, and like Alexander the Great went through there, as the Ottoman Empire, came through there. All these the Mughals, there's all these layers of different waves of humans that came through the Khyber Pass in particular, and Peshawar is right on the Khyber Pass. So my dad would take us to these sites, like this one site where that's literally this gigantic hill that is all old pottery shards from, I don't know, thousands of years. And no archaeologists or whatever had been, trying to excavate anything. So have these very distinct memories of climbing up this hill of the shards of pottery and sitting at the top and eating naan and kebabs as an 8-year-old. And yeah, so when I look back on that, I realize, oh, I was feeling and seeing very distinct layers of time, which is something I experience now, even where I live here, in places where there are very everywhere has history. Obviously, everything has history, but where there have been like very, very intense historical events, I can see that, and I can see the layers of time. So that time in Pakistan was the first memory I have of that. It was very distinct. Yeah.
I just want to two things on that. One is I just saw an article about a similar mountain in Italy of broken olive jars.
Oh,
Same thing. They just kind of, when they broke, they just took them to this dump of, and it's a whole mountain, just like you're saying, of broken pottery. And
wow.
nobody's really excavating it. I'm like, what? It seems pretty important. But secondly, Michener wrote a book called The Source, and it's about layers of civilization stacked one upon the other, creating a mountain. And it's supposed to be Mount Ararat, I think. It's supposed to be, and it's all about the birth of monotheism. So it takes place in Middle East, but it's this idea, and as each civilization dies out, another builds on top of it, and another builds on top of it. So the threads of the same original family, are woven all the way through the mountain or the hill, and it's fascinating. It reminds me of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So let's just get a sense of, though, why Thailand, Afghanistan? Why were you in these places?
My dad was a diplomat with the US government, with USAID. In the news a lot lately.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep. So I grew up in that world.
What
Yeah.
an interesting perspective that must have brought you.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. My family has been in India for over 100 years. So both of my dad's parents were born and raised in India, actually. So both of my dad's sets of grandparents were missionaries in India from the United States. But then because my grandmother and my grandfather were both born and raised in India, they really identified with India. And so a lot of my family still lives in India. are Indian citizens, you know, have married Indian people, and yeah, so the Indian culture is very like my home in a lot of ways. Yeah,
So interesting.
a long legacy there. Yeah.
Very interesting. Wow. And so you got moved around as your father needed to take on different assignments.
Yeah.
Got it. And Afghanistan during the war, my gosh, that must have been
Well,
complete
yeah, I never crossed the border into Afghanistan, but right on the border. Yeah,
right
so there
on
were a lot of
board.
Afghan refugees in Peshawar, and
Mhm,
yeah, my mom worked with the Afghan women a lot in
mhm,
Peshawar.
mhm.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so how did you come back to the US?
My dad got assigned back back
And
to the.
how old were you then?
I moved back and forth. So I first moved to the United States when I was 4.5.
Mhm.
Then he got assigned to Peshawar, Pakistan. Then we moved back to the United States. Then we were in the United States for a few years. Then my dad got assigned to Kenya. Then my parents got divorced. So I went back and forth to Kenya for high school. And then when I was in college, my dad lived in Pretoria, South Africa.
Oh
So
my goodness.
I traveled there. And I also, a big formative memory is when I was 16 and my dad was assigned to Kenya. He was also assigned to the Eastern Africa and Eastern and Southern Africa. So he would travel around a lot. And he took me on a 3-week trip when he went to Eritrea, which at that point it had just gotten independence from Ethiopia. So I spent 3 weeks in Eritrea, um, just kind of wandering around by myself when my dad was working. Sometimes we're going to his meetings with him with government officials and seeing like the post-war torn Eritrea that was literally just coming into its independence like a year or two before that. Very, yeah, very interesting. I mean, interesting is not the right word. Very
Now,
formative experience.
yes. And so here we are at a young age, you've seen some of the devastation, um, in the world. You've been witness. And I'm so curious in the sense that we choose our parents and we choose this whole thing. What do you think your soul was on about in choosing this?
Yeah, I've thought about that. I mean, and I don't really know, but I do feel like part of what that has done for me is I identify with the whole world clearly,
Mhm.
right? Um so I mean, I didn't even come to the United States, and oh no, sorry, I visited the United, but I didn't move to the United States until I was 4.5. So like my first pre-verbal years were in Bangladesh. And so even though I've lived in California now since 2003, it's the longest I've lived anywhere, so 22 years now, I definitely am not from here. Absolutely, definitely not. I feel like a visitor. But I chose to give birth here and raise my children here, and I've never moved them. Because I mean, we moved, the most I've moved them is 2 miles or something we've lived in 3 different houses, but all within the same town. It's like we're going to be stable. They're going to have a stable childhood. They're going to know what it feels like to be at home. I don't have that feeling, but what I do have is I absolutely can identify with the entire globe on many, many levels. And I think on a spiritual level that helps me, I think, do what it is I'm now asked
Yeah,
to do, which is, hold space for the everything.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my sense of it too. You're a
Mm,
citizen of the world and a representative of
mm,
the world too. And
mm.
so, okay, so let's get into when your spirituality started to knock on the door.
Yeah. Um, I think it consciously started coming online in high school, probably 10th-ish grade. So it was when I was maybe 15. Um, 15, 16, something like that. My first boyfriend, I was actually just talked to him for the first time in 20 something years, about a month ago. And so it jogged all these memories. It's very interesting. And I was remembering he is the person who very first introduced me to like Richard Bach and some of those other kind of like, you know, good entryway when you're 16 years
Uh-huh.
old
Uh-huh.
kind of books.
Richard Bach was the best for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Bridge of
Oh, it's
Cross.
just about a seagull.
Yeah. Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
Yeah.
Bridge Across Forever. Those kind of books, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, and then yeah, that's when it started. I think that was the spark actually for me. And then when I moved to Kenya a couple years later, as you know, slightly older teenager, I had one of my favorite memories was I would sit on the grounds of the high school that I was attending.
Mhm.
It was right next to all these coffee fields, and I would go and find a place by myself, and I would eat the papaya. You know, it's amazing. I mean, Kenya has the most amazing produce, or you know, fruit especially. And so I remember eating fresh papaya and just sitting by myself and reading, you know, Bridge Across Forever, that kind of thing. I think that's when it was starting to wake up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What a nice combination of things, eating papaya and reading Richard Bach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so take us forward into where that led you and when you started to get a sense of other things,
Yeah.
abilities.
Right. Yeah. So I think then so then in college, when I was 18, I think I had my first kind of visual experience, you could say. I was with a friend and I had this experience of seeing her like a bunny. I was like, well, what is this experience? You know? And so then I think that was another spark kind of waking up in me. And
Wait a minute. You saw her as a bunny. Say a
yeah.
little more about that.
Well, it was the only time in my entire life I've eaten marijuana ever, 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 ever. I actually cannot stand any substances ever. But I think that was meant to happen for some reason. And I can't stand smoking marijuana. I can't
Me neither.
none of
Me
it. None
neither.
of it.
Me
Cannot
neither.
stand it. Yeah. So, but in that one time, the very one time that I did, we were at a park and I just remember sitting there going, "You are a bunny." And I and then I realized, no, that is actually very true for her spirit. Like she had that kind of a
Mm.
personality.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that sparked something as well. And then the the school I went to for undergraduate degree was very academically like very, very high standard, but very liberal. So a lot of room for exploring who you are and your perception of life and that kind of thing. So it attracts a lot of kids who are like they could have done the Ivy League thing, but they're too hippie to do that. So it's, you know, I had a lot of friends who were also very spiritual and like that friend who I felt like was a bunny. Um, so there were a lot of things waking up, like my relationship with her, for example, again, I was 18 and we had this really beautiful experience lying on the roof of her house and communing with the moon. So
Oh, wow.
the first time I had really connected with the moon in that way. Yeah, so it was like these kind of like, now I look back on it, it was very sweet and cute kind of 18-year-old experiences. Um, but then when I really started, I think, really getting it, what was going on for me was when I was 21, still in college, I started taking Reiki classes and I was compelled, like I had to do this.
Mhm.
And so when I was taking the Reiki classes, the first time I did Reiki, actually put my hands on somebody, I went, oh my God, I could feel, you know, it often happens, I think, when we do Reiki, right? I could feel precisely what the person was feeling. precise, like uncanny. I was like, wow, how did I know that you feel numb from this part of your hip down? Like they hadn't said that out loud, but I was feeling that in my hands and in my body. And then straight from undergraduate school, I went straight into graduate school to become a psychotherapist, but I was compelled to keep going with the Reiki. And and so while I was in graduate school, I still kind of on the side, I would practice the Reiki on my friends and all of that. And then and during that time, more and more and more was waking up in my body, and I was recognizing more and more that I could see energy, and I could, all of that.
You started to see energy when you were doing the Reiki?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And describe that for us.
I don't remember the exact sequence of events, but somewhere it's either in that time and or so fast forward a little bit, I graduated, got my master's in clinical social work, worked in social work for a year. I had a really traumatic experience in a job doing that, and I needed to take a break. So I took a break and went to massage school.
Hmm.
And I did massage therapy for a few years until I moved to California and then went back to social work and became a psychotherapist again. So, but I had a period of about maybe 5 years, I think, where I was a massage therapist and I was doing craniosacral therapy and the Reiki and the energy work. And so it was somewhere in all of that in my 20s when I realized, whoa, when I put my hands on people, I can see their organs, their meridians, their past lives, their spirit guides, the whole spirit world. Um, I can see, yeah, I can see like a CAT scan machine or like an MRI machine, very precise, like an X-ray machine, very, very, yeah, with a lot of precision. And I also had these experiences where I had like a series of women come to me who were having fertility issues. And somehow, I have no idea how, my body knew what to do with their meridians very gently to clear, in particular, their kidney meridian, and then balance like the gallbladder meridian. And I hadn't been taught anything, and none of this. It just all just woke up in me, and every single one of those women got pregnant the month I did this, whatever this was. Very bizarre.
Martha, that's pretty extraordinary. Let me ask you, did you, or even now, I don't know at the time, but would you consider that maybe you were channeling some kind of medical being, or is this just your capabilities you're becoming aware of the field so acutely?
My sense, so I remember my last life very clearly. And that,
Uh-huh.
yeah, my last life was as a very powerful healer in southern India.
Oh,
So I think, I mean, it's weird to say it out loud, right? But my sense is that those abilities are just natural to who I am and
yeah.
always have been. I don't do, like, just to be clear, I don't offer those services. It doesn't feel, that's not my role. But it's yeah. Right. But it is somehow part of just naturally who I am. And I think in my 20s was the time when it was meant for me to become conscious of it somehow. But then now at this point in my life, the point is something complete. It's way beyond like the hands-on healing thing. Yeah,
Well, it's kind of like you plugged back into a role that was familiar in order
yes,
to move you further along the track.
yes, exactly, right.
Mhm.
And to wake that back up, but in a time and a place where like what I remember about that life is I was very, very powerful healer, but I was ostracized. I was literally living in a hut on the side of the village, and I was beaten by the men. Like I was really, really badly treated. So I was basically used for my power, right? And I came into
Oh, that's an old story.
yeah, exactly. I think most of us have those stories. So
Yeah.
now we're here. It's a big part of what I
Yeah.
think, what I'm here to support us in. So I get it. Like I have really deep empathy for that experience because I think that's something most, if not all of us have experienced in some way. And now we're here in a time, all of us, where it's safe, or at least way safer, to be all of who we truly are, and to do it in a time, yeah, totally have a totally different experience with it, and yet bring forward those gifts in the
Mhm.
way that they're needed now.
This is a really beautiful story. I love this the way you just kind of slid into, the thing that was where you could, the wheels were very greased, to just loosen you up. So when you went through, after you went through that phase of hands-on healing, what was the next phase?
Then I went, okay, yeah, then I got married, I had a baby. um, and when my now 18-year-old was 1.5, I thought, okay, I'm ready to go back to social work. I knew I didn't want to do massage therapy forever. And so, yeah, so I got a job at our local nonprofit that specializes in child abuse and trauma treatment and prevention. And so I worked there for 5, 6 years. And then I switched jobs to working for the county and worked still again in child protective services, but more so it was the same clients at both jobs. Just in one job I was a therapist in a nonprofit, the other job I was directly working for the county. And yeah, both very intense. I loved my clients, and the system was very broken. So very traumatic. Even though I loved, 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 loved the actual work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And during that time, I basically hid all of my spiritual
Mhm.
abilities, didn't talk about it at all.
Mhm.
And right, I had, like, 3 or 4 people in the entire world who I even shared that part of myself with at all, at all, at all. Even though, yeah, I was still having very powerful personal experiences, spiritual experiences, very powerful. Um, yeah, but I didn't talk about it with anybody until 2018, 2019.
Oh, wow, not
Mm.
that long ago.
No, not at all.
Okay, so what happened then?
Yeah. So this part most people probably heard, but yeah, so in 2018, okay, I'd say 2012, 2011, I left my marriage and I was pregnant with my second child. And then my younger daughter was born in March of 2012. So 2012 is, a key year for a lot of people, I think, right? And it's very
Oh,
interesting
yeah.
timing. Um, so yeah, she was born March 2012. And I had just left my marriage. And so it was very difficult, extremely difficult time for me. Single mom. I had a 5-year-old at that point and a newborn. And I
Ay.
was working at a nonprofit as a clinical social worker, so making like no money. um, and I couldn't afford food. And I was doing everything on my own. It was really bad. No, literally nobody was helping me at first. So it was really, really, really scary. And so I tell
Oh
the
my
story, but
God.
yeah, I would just lie there at night nursing my newborn, my child, my baby, and uh I would pray. And I was like, what? Oh my God, this is so scary, so horrible. So then what started happening that summer was literally an orb of light came, descended on my body, and started taking me up into the light. And um and the light said, and I'd never experienced anything like this. So the light said, just let me hold you, like let me basically heal you. And so that went on for several years,
On a nightly basis?
daily, nightly, when I was driving. Actually, I don't know if I've ever shared this, but this is very interesting little point. What I was actually doing a lot. I was listening to a lot of Christian music, which I don't identify as Christian, but there's something about this particular, like, yeah, like Hillsong United and all these very, it's like probably wouldn't agree with a lot of beliefs that people would have who are in those circles, but something about the music was activating this like Christ light, I guess you could say, this light, whatever this light was, it was helping the music was helping the light. It was helping me go into the light.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be driving or I'd be whatever I was doing, and I would just be for years just listening to this music and letting the light take me up.
Let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Did you figure out that when you listened to the music that you tended to go into the light, and then you would play the music to it be able to do that?
Oh
Kind of like,
yeah, it was ecstatic. Like it felt like it was literally, it
got
was
it.
medicine for me.
Got it.
Yeah, there's some vibrational something going on with, even though like,
You made the
yeah,
association at some point and went,
definitely.
oh, let's do that.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And did you ever identify that light, or did you feel like it was just Christ light? I don't mean just Christ light. It's
I
pretty
think
great
it's
to
just
have
light.
Christ light.
I think it's, I wouldn't even say it's Christ light. I don't identify it like that.
Okay.
I mean, now, now what I'm supposed to be doing is living the one light. So
Mhm.
I think it's the light,
Mhm.
healing light, divine. It's divine light. That's what it is. It's divine light. Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's the way I would phrase it. Right. Um, uh, yeah. So that started in 2012, and that went on for many years. And
It just froze.
really, really, really hard financially.
Mhm.
And oh, I froze.
Just
Okay.
a little
Can
bit.
you
So
hear me now?
you said it was really hard financially, and I'm sure you were exhausted.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you juggled all of that.
Beyond,
I-
beyond exhausted, actually. I was working so much. I was working all the time. I actually I had 2 or 3 incidents where I was, I mean, truly, 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 because I was working full time. I switched over to working for the county, and then at one point I was a supervisor in the county making decisions about whether or not to remove children. Really intense, really, really awful. And I was working overtime too, because that was part of the requirements. You had to be on call for 911, right?
Oh my
Like
God.
during the middle of the night, and go to work the next day. And I'm a single mom, and it's really not good.
Oh my God.
Really not good. Yeah. So I had like 2 or 3 experiences where I was so tired that I felt my heart like almost stopped. Like really, like I was it was that bad. And I was in my 30s. I was not old. And I
Right.
was healthy. It wasn't, yeah. Yeah, very extreme, difficult, Anyway, right, but it was the light that was like getting me through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then 2018, uh yeah, then I had this experience where, again, I was a supervisor for the county, and I knew this was not sustainable. Like, this is not good for me, right? So intense, and yeah. But I had an experience, basically, long story short, where 8 spirits came to me at one point and told me that I was going to need to leave social work, and I was going to need to start channeling, which I had never done. And that what I would channel would become the platform for what I was needed to do next. And so then, again, very long story, very short. This was April of 2018. And by September of 2018, they had me channel the first of the series, the Living the One Light series, which is called Living the One Light. And I published that in September 2018. And then a year later, yes, I did leave social work, and I channeled the second and the third books, which are Gaia Speaks and The Cosmos Speaks. And I published those in the fall of like exactly 6 years ago, I guess. Right. And then COVID happened. And then it was like amazing timing because I had just left my job. And because I had done that, I was able to qualify to be home with my kids and not be in that job right? Like forced to basically abandon my kids at home while I'm over there trying to save other children. That would have been beyond the pale. So so I essentially mostly just like I was homeschooling my younger one who was 8 at that time during COVID. But both of my kids, it was quarantine, we all know what
Yeah.
that was like. So so I was able to be home with them and receive unemployment, that keep me going during that time.
Yes.
I was like, phew, that's amazing. Phew.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
amazing timing. Um, right. And then it was in March of 2022, my kids were back in school and really established, had everything kind of what they needed. And then that's when the spirit world really stepped in, and they like literally on my 45th birthday, March of 2022, they like literally I had this experience of a lightning bolt going through my body and this vision came in front of my face, of a summit that I was supposed to hold on. It was called Rebecoming the One, about basically holding healing space for our relationship to gender and sexuality. And my guide said, do it. and then I anyway created this outline, and then I said, okay, what speakers do you want me to invite? And I pulled up my phone, put on YouTube, and up popped a video with Pam interviewing Heather Ensworth.
Oh my gosh.
And I knew of Pam, obviously, but I had never heard of Heather.
Uh-huh.
And my guide said, no, it's not Pam. You need to reach out to Heather. And I said, what? So I looked into Heather. I was like, oh my goodness, she's amazing. I reached
Mhm.
out to her. She said, sure. So we met. We became instant friends, basically. And then it all went from there. So
Wow.
yeah, so it's really March of 2022 when, everything I'm doing now like really started. Yeah.
Wow. I appreciate you telling that story because I think your folks, your audience probably knows a lot of that, but I'm not sure that everybody on my side of this do know, and I want them to know
I think
because
there are a lot of details in there I don't think I've ever shared, actually.
well, thank you. I like the details, and one of the reasons why I spend time in navigating the process, the story of how people get from there to here, is because we all have these stories. We all have something, and when you tell yours, somebody will go, "Oh my gosh, that happened to me too. When I'd almost forgotten about that. Oh, gee, it gives validation to all of our becoming stories, and I think also when we get to the point where, I mean, you and I are living totally guided all the time, right? I mean, I make my own decisions, but within a context. And you do too. And if spirit tells you to do this, you're going to do that. And that's just, there's no argument anymore. And I think it's also really helpful for people to find out how you got there. Because a lot of people, I believe, just based on what clients tell me and so on, they're sort of got their toes curled around the cliff edge, like how can I trust so much in all of that? I believe it, but can I really go there? And it's, and for every person, it's different. What's going to maybe give them that little tweak off the edge to fall into that surrender, but I think it's really helpful to hear the stories about how everybody does that. And in your case, really not unlike, I mean, the details are different, but when you're at the lowest point that you were at, there is something about that. There is a vulnerability. There's a chink. There's an opening, right? And some people it's illness, some people it's an accident, some people, or it's something. And it's often that low point where the light gets in.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely. Literally the light.
Seriously with you, literally.
Literally the light.
So, okay, well, thank you so much for filling us in on all of that. I am curious because of when you were kind enough to have me on the panel with John, and you both were channeling these galactic beings. So when did they make an arrival into your consciousness?
The star beings in particular.
Mhm.
That's relatively pretty recent. I think
Mhm.
the first time I ever channeled a star energy was May of 2023, when the sun was aligned with the Pleiades. And I was doing a channel. I wasn't planning to channel anything in particular. I mean, when I channel, it's like I just am present to whatever is here present. I'm
Yeah.
present with whatever's present. And I just started channeling the Pleiades. And oh my God, I just channeled the Pleiades. And then I was listening to something Julia Balaz had done, and I went, oh my God, today the sun is lined up with the Pleiades. And I just channeled the Pleiades. What? Um, yes, but then it just went from there. Yeah. I think a month or two later, I channeled the Syrians for the first time or something like that. It was around that time. So about 2.5 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
So let me ask you, because I think people are curious about this. When you first started to channel, did you believe it 100%?
Yes,
You did.
I did, because because of the way it happened.
Uh-huh.
I didn't give all the details, but I can say a little more if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way that my guides set it up, they set it up in a way that would like help me never to question it, because I will never question it now.
How
So
did that happen?
yeah, so again, people who have heard this a million times, but I'll just say it for people who haven't. Yeah, so what happened was, again, in April of 2018, I was a supervisor for the county, and I was overseeing this particular very cutting edge, very kind of risky program, trying to do everything we could essentially to give families support who are like on the edge of having their kids taken. Okay, so
Mm.
so at that time California was really adamant. They really wanted to prevent taking kids from families for a lot of very good reasons, and I was very gung-ho about that. And then we got a new director who was on the more conservative side, and she is so then in the clinical in the in that part of social work, child welfare services, there's kind of the more therapeutic version, which is me, and
Mm,
then kind of the more police oriented version.
mm,
And yeah, so we got a new director who originally, our first director had been the therapeutic version, and then we got a director who's more the police version. So she came in, and she looked at this program I was running, and she went, oh no, you guys are being way too nice to these people. You gotta like give it to them hard, and like
oh boy.
like all this stuff. It was horrible. Literally, the only time in my entire life I've ever had panic attacks was then. Like really bad. Anyway, so she said, no, I just want to get rid of this whole thing. I want you to go back to what you were doing before. Um, and so I was obviously very upset, for a lot of reasons, not only for myself, but like really mostly for
Right.
the clients.
Right.
So anyway, so I was upset. I went home to think about it. She wanted me to like voluntarily switch. And so I had to make the decision, am I going to or not? Um, and I went home. I was going to pray about it. I closed my eyes to pray, and that was immediate. I didn't even start praying, and immediately the instant I closed my eyes, that's when that circle of 8 spirits were there.
Oh,
And they said, and again, I'd never experienced the circle of 8. And I still don't actually know who they are. I think it was Seth, who I think is here today, was asking me some great questions about it, which I would love to. Anyway, yeah, I don't know precisely who they are, but they're amazing. They're benevolent beings. I can feel that part. So anyway, so they were immediately appeared for the first time ever, and they said, no, this is exactly right. Yes, say yes to them. Take that adoption social work job, which is what I had been doing before this particular position. And because when you take the adoption social work job, that's going to mean that you're going to need to go 1 hour north of San Francisco once a month, or on a regular basis, I think actually were their exact words. And I live 5 hours south of San Francisco. So that was not like a normal thing to be saying to me. Like I was thinking, why would, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. Right. But I felt it. I could feel the reality, like the truth of them. But I thought it was a little crazy, but okay, sure. So I called up the director and I said, okay, yes, I will do what you're asking. I'll take this adoption social work job. So that was a Thursday. I started at the adoptions job on Monday. And the second day on the job, Tuesday, I got assigned a brand new client who was a kid living in a home an hour north of San Francisco.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, who I had to go visit once a month. Exactly right. So, and when on that Thursday, when they had shown me, when they had come, that circle came to me, they said all that to me, but they also showed me this very clear vision of me sitting outside of a health food store or a health food restaurant or something at an outside picnic table typing. And they said, and they showed me that basically I would be channeling an hour north of San Francisco, sitting outside of whatever this place was. And so again, fast forward to like July. I think I started visiting that kid maybe in April or May, something like that. And somewhere like June or July, I went to go see him. It was a very, 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 very traumatic situation that was going on with him, and I needed some comfort. So my guide said to me, okay, go on your phone and put in the GPS something, like find the closest health food store. So I did, and it was over in Marin County. I think it's called the Good Earth, which I had
Oh,
never.
yeah. Yeah, I know it well. In fact, I know that very one.
Yeah, I love it there so much. I had never been there. I never heard of it. But I put it in my GPS. I started driving, and I as I was getting close, I started feeling tentacles go down into my back and connect into like the back of my heart, essentially. And I was like, "What is going on? Why are you putting tentacles down my back or into my back?" Like but I mean, it's fine. I didn't feel scared or anything, but it was a little odd. And I kept driving, and I arrived at the Good Earth, and in Marin, and yeah, and then I started feeling this like this flood trying to channel through me, and I really need to use the bathroom, so I ran to the bathroom. Was like, oh my God, I need to use the bathroom. Hello, I'm human. Use the bathroom, ran back to my car, grabbed my iPad, and my iPad had a keyboard on it. And it turns out, guess what? Good Earth has picnic tables outside.
Tables. Yes, it does.
Exactly. And I was like, oh my God. So then I sat down at one of the picnic tables outside and I started channeling for the first time. What is going on? Oh my God. Right. So you get it. Like there's no way
Yeah.
I just can't doubt it.
Well,
I
I absolutely hear you. I'm asking because a lot of people have said to me, well, I sit down to do some maybe automatic writing, or maybe I hear something and, they doubt it. And so I like to encourage, because I feel like, I mean, when I channel, and I didn't channel willingly in front of people ever, because I don't know, I felt too much pressure, So, and it wasn't that I didn't believe it, because I did believe it, but I was shy about it. And so my guides figured out how to come in through the back door. And in the middle of me giving a meditation online, and my response to COVID was to start, Monday meditations for anybody, just to do, just to come together. And so I would give the meditations that I already knew and had in my back pocket, kind of thing. And after a while, I noticed, oh, why'd I use that word? And why'd I use that word? And what's happening here? But I just, you keep going. And finally, it was announced in the middle of a thing who was this group, that galactic group was coming in and had been teaching us for months, but because I thought I was doing it, and I knew that I had channeled in private before, but they just slowly came in the back door when I wasn't watching. So, but I think everybody can do this, and I think it is our blueprint.
Yeah, definitely.
It's built in, and so I like to encourage people to, even if you're shy about it, to go ahead and try. Do it with whatever divination tool that you might like, that you're attracted to, or automatic writing or whatever. It's right there. And I remember the first time it happened, and I don't know if this happened for you, but I went, oh, wait a minute. I've been hearing that forever. It's way back here, and I've pushed it way back. And when I realized, so that's the voice, I was like, oh, it's been there all along. So I really love to share these circumstances of channeling. Now, it sounds to me in your situation that it was no big deal for you to get out of the way, to let the channeling come straight through.
At that moment, no, I can't explain why not, because you would think, yeah.
But you already explained your former life was as a powerful healer, which you and I both know, when we're healing, we're not healing from us, it's coming through. So you were already accustomed in your previous life to getting out of the way so the healing could come through, just like it did with Reiki and so on. So I think, for folks to think about getting out of the way, I always do it like this. I always feel like I move to the left, but however do you do that? Do you feel like you get out of the way at all? It just comes through.
Oh, for me, the light comes through me. Yeah.
Well,
So
it does, but don't you, your personality, does it have to move out of the way?
It goes quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe it moves back a little. It definitely doesn't move to the side. It's more like maybe it's like similar to if I'm doing Reiki. I think it's very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It goes somewhere else. It's just, so this is a hollow tube, basically.
Yes,
Channel.
definitely. Yeah, it's definitely not my personality. Definitely not. Occasionally what happens for me when I'm channeling for especially other people, the part of me that has been a therapist and is very aware of trauma needs. I will sometimes have little arguments with not arguments, conversations. I'll negotiate a little bit with whoever I'm channeling, and I'll say, if I say that might be a little hard for.
I do the same thing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can we choose another word, please?
Yeah, right. Or it's like I will come in, the Martha me might come in with a little caveat, like you can choose to do this or not. That kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting because there have been times when I'll say that word is very harsh because there's not a lot of emotion right on that side. So it comes through very like, it's maybe blunt, but it's, and sometimes it's too blunt. So I'll try to flip that word away and it'll come right back. And I'll go, no, I don't want to. And then I'm like, okay, maybe that's the word that needs to be heard. I don't know, but all right. Well, Martha, this is really cool. I love hearing your story and seeing any cross currents here with me. And let's talk just a little bit here before we take Q&A about your work sharing the one light and where we are right now in the world and how you perceive the times we are in, and necessary, not necessary, whatever. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's a big question.
I know.
Right. Yes, I will just say in terms of the channeling,
Mhm.
I'm currently teaching a channeling course.
Oh,
And in addition, though, on my YouTube channel, for anybody who's interested, I just in the last month, 2 free videos, actually three total, but 2 videos that are channeled. So it's a how to channel part 1 and a how to channel part 2. They're there and they're free. Yeah.
wonderful.
If anybody
How
wants that.
timely.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then there's a video also where I talk about my own channeling journey, which is a somewhat a repeat of what I just said. Maybe some, but then I also take some Q&A from people about channeling specifically. So those 3 videos are there on my YouTube channel for anybody who wants them.
Oh, that is such a beautiful gift. Really. Thank you. Thank you on
Yeah,
behalf of all of us.
of course.
Really wonderful.
So, but
Um,
I think that,
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, in terms of where we are in this moment, really fascinating, right? I think the way I often experience it is like there's that elephant in the room, and each of us are feeling different parts of the elephant. And then when we share with each other, we go, oh, wow, I've been feeling an ear, and wow, you've been feeling a tail. And that's helping us all to figure out what the heck is the elephant, right? So, yeah. Um, so I don't feel like I personally am seeing the whole entire elephant. I don't have an answer for, oh yeah, I think it's absolutely
Yeah.
definitely XYZ. But I can say what I do, what I am told by my guides, what I see, what I feel, I do feel like this gets said over and over again. It's a little too cliche at this point, but it is how I'm feeling. I this is what I feel coming this coming year. Really fascinating, amazing, and significant. I'm feeling the upcoming Saturn Neptune conjunction, which is happening February 20th, 2026, so powerfully. And it feels like a major shift. And I'm feeling this shift happening, not only like in my energy system, but I'm witnessing it happening in people in my community really powerfully. So it's like what it feels to me like is, and what my guides are adamant about is that we've had all this talk about, oh, we want to create new earth, blah, blah, blah. We're here to have a shift, blah, blah, blah. And they're saying, yeah, those are nice ideas. But now, starting now, and especially into 2026, it's time to do it.
Yeah.
And they're very serious. And they're
Mhm.
like, this is not an idea of like some messiah comes along and then this wave washes over you and you just magically appear into a new dimension. No. Like maybe
Right.
anything is possible. They're like, why did you come to the planet? Because you're here to create it now together. This is why you're here to do it. You're here to do it together. So it's like what they're showing me is um that a lot of us, and I've really witnessed this so powerfully in so many of the people in my groups and everything, is over the last 2, 3 years, I've been witnessing people doing this major, I mean, karmic lifetimes of karma, like deep, deep, deep transformation, really, really,
Yeah.
really unearthing so much going on for themselves. And I would say this eclipse season we just had, as I've seen like the biggest shifts so fast in so many people just in the last 2 months. Boom. Like woo. And I would say the biggest shift I'm seeing is people who have these gifts, latent, that we all have these gifts, we all have all these things meant to show up in the world. But then now what's been happening is all the layers of doubt and all the layers of I'm not good enough and all the blah, 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 blah. Not that we're perfect, but it's like suddenly, boom. It's like what I'm seeing is people's full soul landing, right? And then
Mhm.
the the doubt and all of that is, I mean, people are working with it. We're all working. I mean, I'm human, right? I'm definitely working with this in my own way. But it's like people's self is the most present I've ever seen it. And it's like this huge wave coming forward. And then the big thing I'm being told about 2026 is, okay, so here you are. now we step in. Like now we step up to the plate. It's not about like wishing that this would be nice, wishing that something. It's not a passive act. This is very active. Very we need to step into action, right? So Neptune conjunct Saturn at 0 degrees of Aries. That is about creating the structure of
Yeah.
the divine in action now, like right now. So powerful. Oh my goodness. And people are ready. Like there's a whole wave of people ready. And of course we still need to do our own healing. I really want to give the caveat for people who are struggling big time, or in really difficult times of their life. This is not a judgment at all. We're all doing exactly what we need to be doing. And once a person maybe goes through, if you're in a really difficult moment and you need to be just held, okay, just please give that to yourself. Don't feel pressured by this at all. Because then maybe you'll be a different wave, right? Like, but what I'm seeing and feeling is that there's a wave of people who are ready to step in, each in our own different ways. And yeah, so in 2026, really what my guides are showing me is this is where we create the structures. We do it. And it's not about, out there. It's like right here in every single moment. And just 2 other things I'll say real quick. I channeled a video, again, it's on my YouTube channel, just in the last month, the last 3 weeks ago or something. It's the one that says, how do we act? How do we really create new Earth? And it's a channeling from Gaia, because I was thinking, wow, I mean, it's like I got this nudge basically from my guides. Okay, if you're gonna try to figure out how to create new Earth, maybe you need to ask the Earth.
Yes, exactly.
Literally. So what I loved what came through in that one. Oh my goodness. Basically the nugget of what she said that really struck me was, she said, what I want you to do is be creating pockets of love, like literally. So she's like, she gave this analogy of, let's say you have a house, let's say you have a living room or something, and you know what it's like to walk into a living room and you can feel it, right? If there's been love there, it doesn't even matter if it's like perfectly manicured or whatever. That's not the point. Is you can feel that if it's been cared for like a home, right? Yes, like grid work. Yeah, exactly. And so she said, that's not a trivial thing. It's like any home you walk into, let's say you can tell, like, I mean, this is obvious for all of us, but I know this from having investigated child abuse. You can walk into a home and I know immediately, oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is bad, right? Or no, there, sure, like there's poverty or difficulty, but no, there's love filling this house, right?
Mhm.
You just instantly know it.
Mhm.
Right. So wherever we go, whatever we do, we're creating pockets of energy of something. So she said, please be creating pockets of love all over the globe. So it doesn't need to, so when we're creating these structures of quote unquote new Earth, it doesn't need to be like massive XYZ.
Right.
It's like literally moment to moment in our own daily lives, really not trivial. And then the other thing super fascinating that I just was getting told in my praying the other day, like 2 or 3 days ago, they've been telling me to hold an event on December 19th. And I couldn't figure out quite why. And then it came through very, very clearly. Yeah, we want you to hold an event that is going to be about helping people come deep into themselves and feel the spark of basically what is mine to do, what is theirs to do, each person's to do for stepping up to the plate to create new Earth, right? Whatever that is. Again, it doesn't have to be any one way. And then what I realized a couple days later, 2 days ago or something, that December 19th is precisely the day that Three Eye Atlas will be
I know. I was waiting for you
the
to
gifts
say
to the
that.
Earth. Like what? Fascinating. I mean, really, really fascinating. Yeah. So that's a whole topic. But
That's a whole topic.
yeah. Anyway, yes.
No, I was waiting for you. Like, she's gonna tell you, she's gonna say it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's very, yeah, I agree with you in every way. And I think this stepping up and doing it can even be a quiet thing.
Definitely.
It can just be that switch, that internal switch that doesn't succumb to, oh God, what just happened in the world? Oh God, whatever. It's a switch to go, I'm still here. I'm still the beacon that I came to be. It's like a spinal, straightening. And I refuse to bend. I'm not going to release that role, because that is why I came here. And it can just be me. It doesn't have, I don't even have to broadcast, even that. You come online. Speaking of grid work, you come online, and then the whole grid lights up. Yeah. Because it's refusing to be pulled under. And because that's the pressure. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to choose? What are you going to choose? And we've never had to be so strong and so committed to and committed to this idea and to this belief and to all the things you've been talking about, all the things that you've been sharing. It's really a moment of choice. And I think the astrology, and Pam's been talking about that also. And it's very exciting. It's not totally not intimidating.
No,
Double negatives there, but but we're built for it, and we are prepared. We have been prepared. So look at how the internet opened up. During COVID, the internet opened up with so many teachers, so many channelers, so much information. Like, there's somebody for everyone. I love that. I don't think that's an accident. So we all have an avenue, to hook up, to keep these thoughts and ideas and ideals alive, to keep our hearts happening, to keep us connected. Yeah. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, Martha. Really. Thank you. All right, well, let's take some questions. We have one so far. Mr. Randy, do you want to, I don't know if you're able to show yourself tonight.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. It's been so refreshing. And just like the ahas. Yep, that happened to me too. Happened like 4 times in the conversation at least. Maybe it doesn't. One of my channels is mistreating me relative to the ego of the individual it's coming through. How do I'm not sure how to respond.
Connect with the light. Say no.
And
Connect with the light. That's my answer. Yeah. Light is stronger than anything. Just become the light, and just
thank you for your consideration about all that.
just say you're done. Nope. It's like a toddler.
That's not working. I've been doing that. I can channel Yeshua. It's at the same time, and yet there's the element of a personality that has a grudge. That's coming. That's extorting me through the channel. Literally extort.
Yeah, I would guess there's some grounding. Maybe you need some of your own work to do with that. You could go to, Hope might have a different answer because she clearly knows you. I don't know you, but you could try the 2 videos on my YouTube channel. It sounds like basically my answer is plug yourself into light. And if you're really, really plugged into that, it will all vanish, like truly. The way I think of those kind of energies is like 2-year-olds. So they throw a tantrum, and it might be very loud, and you watch them throw that tantrum, and eventually they tire themselves out. And then, but it's like, if you're really truly plugged into the light, it's so much more powerful than anything else. Truly it is. So it's
Thank
what
you.
creation is. Yeah.
Yeah, Randy, check out her YouTubes. And she's got so much on there, and different panels and all kinds of things. So it would be a good place to go.
I have a positive affirmation regarding your integrity, both, and this is definitely a no-brainer. Thanks for meeting you.
Thank you. Be well, Randy. All right. Anybody else have a question for Martha? Come on, I know you do. There's so many things we could talk about. Don't be shy. Let's see. Well,
Hello.
hello.
Hey, my name is Ann. I don't know if it's showing up on there or not.
No, but go
Sorry.
ahead. That's all right.
I've
Go ahead.
been like, anyway, I also get information. I just wanted to comment on what that guy was saying just now about, I see it like a lower frequency kind of interfering with clear channel radio, supposedly, right? I got information several years ago when I had kind of a similar thing, and it was to meet, match, enhance, exceed my vibrational frequency or leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the only way you can get that lower frequency interfering in there is because it's meeting yours. It's sort of like having the difference between an AM station and an FM station. You keep yours tuned to this, and then that frequency can't broadcast.
Beautiful. I love that way of explaining it. Thank you.
So sure. Thanks. I'm sorry for all the confusion when I first joined up. I live with my 96-year-old mother and had to get some stuff settled down or whatever. So anyway, I'm so excited that I saw this on Pam's Facebook tonight and get to do this with y'all. I love her. She's awesome.
She is.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Helpful words. Great description. Anybody else wish to?
I do have one question because I
Oh,
missed
yeah.
what when you said that about December 19th, you're going to do something on December 19th, because my mind immediately flew to, oh my God, that's the Rihanna Atlas, the whole thing happening, the same thing too. And so I didn't pay enough attention to what are you doing? What have you been like guided to do or whatever? What's happening?
Yeah, well, it literally, I was just told this a day or two ago, so I don't have the whole plan yet, but I am holding a free event on December 5th, which if you go to my website, there's a banner at the top and it says join free event. I would definitely sign up there for that.
Martha, this would be a
yeah.
good time to actually tell everybody your website.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
please.
livingtheonelight.com. So everything I do is Living the One Light. So YouTube channel,
Oh,
Living the
love
One
that.
Light.
Okay.
Yeah. My website, livingtheonelight.com. Yes. So this free event I'm holding on December 5th will be with people like David Clements.
No way. I love him.
John Ryan, Julia Balaz, and Kelly Kolodny. So highly recommend that. It feels like it's a pivotal, like some reason we're all supposed to convene to what I feel happening is like the light grid of existence is going to click in some way with all of us. I don't just mean the five of us. I mean like everybody. And that's why we're being asked to come together so that it can click and some switch can happen energetically to support us to move forward into this time that I feel like we're being asked to, really step up to the plate and actually create these structures. So that's the purpose of that free event. The one on December 19th, I will keep working with my guides and they'll tell me what to do precisely, but yes, it will be. I'm definitely planning to hold it that day. But sign up for the free one on December 5th, and then you'll receive any and all emails about.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in. You have so many people that I already love to listen to. And the net of jewels is lighting up.
No, literally, that's exactly right. And then when we come together, like Hope and all of us, everybody here, That's what I feel. So again, also, actually, I would say that's a big thing I feel happening right now, is that exactly what you just said, that net of jewels coming together, is that we've been over here kind of in this silo and that silo over there and this channel and this thing. And people obviously interview other people, like Pam is amazing at that, right? Right, but that's beautiful and wonderful, but when it's one-on-one, it's one thing. When it's all of us, it's a whole different experience. So yeah, that's a big part of what I feel called to. Like, we just did, Hope and I just did the one with John Ryan, and so periodically I feel really called, and I think more and more and more us coming together is really important. Yeah. A coalition, exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yay. I feel like I've found my tribe.
Oh, good.
Oh, well, and actually, speaking of that, I forget, people don't know me. So yes, I also have a free community. So when you sign up for that free event, you are then part of that free community. And so then there's a free app, the Living the One Light app, where you can share, anything uplifting. And it's meant to be, it's kind of like if you want to call it like a Facebook or an Instagram, but only positive things. And no
Right.
ads, and it's totally free, and it's all about really supporting us in this time, and to really support each other. So people are in there sharing like amazing photos of where they live, and the sunset and the beautiful Gaia where they are, and their part of the world, and other uplifting music, or whatever it is. I mean, just like people will
Right.
share, a video by Kelly Kolodny and a video by so and so. Oh, I really loved this one, So it's really meant to, like, we need to come together, support each other, and not, there's no like weird competition doesn't help anything at this point. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Right.
So join that too.
I'm in.
Awesome.
Totally in.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's just, I love all your offerings, and it is all about community, and now our communities can mix and match.
Exactly.
So, we should probably do this periodically just to keep that going.
Exactly.
And keep apprised of, well, we need each other, when everybody has a little stumble here and there, and needs a little leg up. So that's what it's all about. Beautiful. Anybody else have a question for Martha?
I do. I'm not real sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, hi. I'm not real sure if this is the appropriate venue for this question, but I'm not a psychic. I'm not a medium, nothing like that. But I recently was going to attend one of those body, mind, spirit expos where they do the card readings and they sell the crystals and the singing bowls and that kind of thing. Just a lovely energy. But anyway, shortly before I was getting ready to go, my mother's already made her transition about almost 10 years ago. But I clearly hear a voice in my head that I know to be my mother. And she said, "You're going to meet someone." And I thought, oh, good. I'm going to meet a nice guy. This is going to be great. How fun. So I go. I'm there for a few hours. I don't do any readings or anything like that with anyone. Excuse me, but I pass this woman's table and it says evidential psychic medium. I don't know what that is. I'd never heard that there was anything like that. So I spoke to the woman, and I hear my mother say, "This is the one." So I hear my mother say, and my interpretation is, "This is the person you're going to meet." So I make an appointment to have a reading done with this woman. And it was, several weeks out, and, an hour and a half drive away, blah, 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 and expensive for me. And I didn't get anything at all that I would feel that was definitively, truly, without a doubt, from my family on the other side. Not, my mother didn't come through, no siblings, none of that. And I felt so betrayed by that experience, because I felt like my mother had betrayed me. I felt like I had betrayed myself because I had believed it. So I don't really know what to do with this experience. And I was hoping maybe you might be able to help me understand what the purpose was of that.
Yeah, I mean, Hope again might have another answer. My answer would be, I can't know, but what I do wonder is, um, so I have a couple things again free on my website and my YouTube channel. So I have the series called the Wholeness Way series, which is free on my website, and it's a month of daily videos that essentially help you to ground in and find your own spirit team, like just and clear your own energy. And um yeah, I mean, just what, in other words, what I'm kind of wondering is maybe there's a way for you to be supported to ground in and clear what anything, just get more clear in your own self and your own light, so that, because I'm just wondering if there's a way to be able to discern a little more, like what is that energy that was talking to you, or I would guess it, I mean, the way I was feeling as you were describing it was really beautiful. It felt good to me. Yeah, I hope you feel that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
The message from my mother felt very good. It
that's
felt
what I'm
very
saying.
normal, very
Yeah,
lovely, very wonderful,
yeah,
and very natural.
yeah,
And
exactly.
so I was so excited to be able to go see this woman, and it was like, okay, great, perfect, wonderful. And then to just, I was so hurt when I was driving home from that experience. I just didn't understand it. And I know someone posted a little thing, it's about trust. I get that. I have an issue with trust for sure, but I trusted that voice. I trusted it.
So I
And
wonder, yeah, have you asked your mother, like, have you tried to kind of dialogue with her, like what, maybe there was a purpose from that point of view? I really don't know, but have you asked more questions?
I have not specifically asked. I've never had a communication with my mother after her passing. This was the first and only that I've experienced. And that's why I guess it probably felt so um, hurtful. Just, I don't know exactly. Like I said, I'm not a medium. I'm not a psychic. I don't hear voices. I don't channel. I don't get communication like that. This was a one-off for sure.
Right.
But,
I have to interrupt.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay. You're telling, you've got a lot of things you're saying that you're not, but
Mhm.
you are,
Yeah.
because you heard your mother. Okay.
Mhm.
I
So
did.
I I I I could go down a real rabbit hole, and if I had my rods with me right now, I would, where they're somewhere in another room. But even without them, I think the purpose here, and the fact that you're even telling this story right now, is the thing to pay attention to, because you're, the way you are beating yourself up
Mhm.
and allowing the disappointment of somebody else's lack of ability to reflect on you and hurt you. It's not, that's not the point. The point is, you heard your mother told you something, you went and it happened. That's the point. Whether that woman is actually an evidential medium or not, that's not it. You followed directions. You did what your mother told you to do, and you heard it, and you are psychic, you're clairaudient. Okay, so let's take all those labels that you're not, and let's just dump them.
Mhm.
If this is perhaps the beginning of something that's going to be happening for you, and to have all these knots, nose, and heavy emotion around it is going to just block it. The whole
Beautiful.
point is for you to now open to this. It's not about the medium,
Mm.
it's about you.
Mm.
Okay. This is a flowering. It's just a bud. Okay. So get back and take away all expectation, and just think about how good it felt to hear from your mom, how easy it was. It's easy. Those voices are there. Like I was saying before to Martha, they were always there. I just I had too much going on in front, and you just settle into that and just see without expectations, see if it might happen again. And you might hear some other voice, or you might be guided this way and that way. And may I also suggest, if you don't already have some kind of divination tool, that you get one. I always, I teach dowsing, and dowsing is like, I think is the best thing on the planet, but I can also do cards. I can also do I Ching. Well, I'm not so good at I Ching, but there are other things that can be done. So start working it. Write a letter to your mom, ask her a question and see what happens. Start developing it. That's the point of it all. It's not about the medium.
Okay. Thank you, girls. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're seeing all these amazing, beautiful comments to you in the
No,
chat.
I'm not seeing it.
Oh,
No,
Yeah. The people are just saying such beautiful things. I don't know if we have a minute to let either Cody or Seth, they were both of them, I know them well, and I know they're going to speak in a really beautiful way to her. Do we have a minute for them to speak?
Yeah, let's yes, sure, do that.
Cody or Seth, do you want to speak up?
Yeah, I just wanted to encourage you as well that sometimes these are pretty humorous in the way that they're communicated to us. And I kind of feel like what you described is the definition of what an evidential medium does. And so I think your mom was telling you that you're an evidential medium. So I just wanted to, it's the same way that other people have been encouraging you. But yeah, that's so often people who find that they have this gift, they connect to other people's loved ones, and it's often with very wild, like hilarious non sequitur images. If you're interested in this topic, you should watch the most recent Next Level Soul podcast. I won't remember the name of the woman, but she's an evidential medium, and she talks about her whole journey. She didn't start knowing that she could do this until she had an experience with her father, as her father was dying from protracted cancer, and that shifted her into this whole experience. And she gets communicated with other people by other people's loved ones in the most hilarious, like humorous sort of non sequitur ways. So I just want you to encourage you as well to not take something like this personally. Like, I think that maybe there was a sense of humor in this, and it really was about you, like, recognizing your own abilities. So don't deny it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
Yeah. I really
let me just say that that I just interviewed a medium named Scott Allen, and it all happened for him in a very dramatic way, but he's quite good at it. And you could, call him up, and it's on my channel and on my website and all that stuff. But you could make an appointment with him and find out what that was about.
Scott, what was his name?
Scott Allen, Allan. But if you look on I just interviewed him within the last 2 weeks.
Lovely. Thanks, girls. And thanks, guys, and Seth and everybody. Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and again, I just reflect that what I feel, and I'm saying this, I'm like taking time with this because I feel like it's so similar. I've heard so many people say the same things, right? Just to reflect what I felt when you're talking about your mother speaking to you, is like my heart immediately lit up and felt really pure. And what I felt in you, Pam or Pamela, I felt purity opening up in you, which signals to me that it feels really real. Not that I can know whether it's real or not, but that's the signal for me that it seemed like it was. And then when you're talking about the medium, I get this sort of image of like a darker kind of energy, right? And so so I agree. It's like I would second everything. But yeah, it feels really beautiful. Like there's this pure opening in your heart. And exactly what Hope said, it's like, go with that. Don't worry about, most humans are dealing with shadowy kind of energy that they haven't worked through. And I wouldn't trust most mediums at a fair personally, but Yeah, but I do feel, and I would trust that pure light coming through your own heart that seems like it was awakening as you're speaking with your mother. So go with it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you both
Beautiful.
and all of you. Thanks everybody for being patient and letting me ask the question.
No, thank you very much. It was helpful. I'm sure it's helpful to a lot of people. Callie, would you like to unmute yourself and
I don't have a question so much as I took a photograph. I was on a trail today and there were so many knobby knots on the trail. And so I got down and took a picture because you could easily trip on those, right? Because you said, don't let the knots stop you. And what I heard was the same thing, right? Don't let the knots, as in the naysayers, right? That's
right?
why I took that photo. So anyway, I just wanted to share that, but it's so funny how we're connected, even though we don't know we're connected. Very cool.
That's great. Thank you, Callie.
You bet.
I feel like I want to say one more thing because again, this is such a common thing for basically probably all of us in some way. It's like right now with the South Node in Virgo, and it was, it's in Virgo when we just had that last eclipse season. It'll still be in Virgo at the next eclipse season, and it's currently in Virgo. Humongous part of what I feel like that's supporting us to do is to release any and all of the aspects of Virgo energy that are not very helpful, right? And all signs, all energies have very helpful sides to them and very not helpful potential sides to them. And I have a very strong Virgo in my own charts. I'm not putting down Virgo at all. I love Virgo. And a lot of us come into this lifetime with all of this, I'm not good enough. I was a healer in a past life, and that was super scary for all kinds of legitimate reasons or whatever it is, or, so, and I feel honestly really, really sad when I think about that. And I think a humongous part of what we're here to be doing for each other is exactly what just happened, which is, no, wait a minute, you're perfect and you're beautiful and keep going, because that's not really the message we've gotten previously. And
Right.
but now we are here to give it to each other, and we just are doing that right now. So yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, on that lovely note, Martha, thank you so much. This has been a great time with you. Really great. And I'm glad that I got to know you a little bit better. And I think everybody else now knows you really well. We have the whole story. So nobody can say, who's Martha? Now you know. So I want to thank everybody for coming. And if you liked this little episode of Infinite Wisdom, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to remember things I'm supposed to say. And hopefully we'll see you next time. I have a lot of lovely people coming up, and who knows, maybe we'll have a big shindig all together,
Oh,
at
thank you to everybody who's here.
Thank you
Be
too.
watching in the future.